Hello, Dental Team listeners. This is Kiera. And today I just really wanted to dive into, are you truly tired of missing production goals? Because if you are, block scheduling is honestly the secret to hitting them consistently with ease. And I know this is something that's talked about so often. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to break this down into 3 easy steps to make sure that you're able to do this with your team in a fun, effective, and just like overall amazing way for you. Block scheduling can truly transform your productivity into profitability. And it's something as simple as doing a quick puzzle in your practice where we're able to add the pieces, have an incredible patient experience, incredible team experience, incredible doctor experience. And to me, that's a win-win-win. So for that, these 3 steps are going to really make it easy for you and your team to chunk this down into a tactical, practical way. You guys, I'm Kiera Dent, owner and CEO of the Dental Aid Team, a consulting company where we are committed to not just understanding you, but actually being you. All of our consultants have worked in every position in the practice where we're able to understand what it's like to not be able to hit productivity goals, to schedule with frustration, to have cancellations that are dropping off on us, to where we know what it's like to lose team members. All of those things are something that our Dental Team consultants are experts at, and something that I'm really, really proud of as a company, because I know that when we understand you, we're not just coming to you with theories and ideas, but actual tips that have been proven, tried, consistent across hundreds of offices in all the states in multiple different countries to make sure that we're giving you guys efficiency that helps your team stay focused. So this is going to be able to help you guys out. And today it's going to be short and actionable because I want you guys to be able to take what we talk about and implement it today. So step 1 is going to be identify your practice's production goals. Now, what we got to do is we've got to look to see what did our practice produce last year. And a healthy standard benchmark is that we want to actually be increasing a minimum of 10% year over year. We also want to make sure that we've increased our fee schedules every single year, and most practices go up about 5%. Now, if you're concerned about that with your fee-for-service patients or your out-of-pocket patients, I want to just remind you that this is standard across the board with most businesses to increase 5%. And if you want to keep those preventative ones out, by all means, go for it. I just want to be able to remind you that by doing so, when we actually send our statements out to insurance and we bill out to insurance, it actually helps the insurance companies determine what the fee should be within our area. So I want to make sure that we're not missing opportunities, and possibly a membership plan could actually help our patients when we're concerned about those preventative services. So make sure that we know what we need to do for that 10% growth. Make sure we understand how many days we're off in the practice. So I like to go through every single month. What are the vacations? What are the holidays? What are the times off? What are our high and low months across the board? I know so for some pediatric practices, our certain months in the year are actually not great, but our summer months are incredible. I know for other areas, based on where they are, they get a lot of snowfall in February. So February actually becomes a terrible month for them. There's also other offices where there's the notorious September or slam dunk September, where we actually have a dip right after school gets back in session. So knowing those trends are actually going to be able to know your practice's production goals to be able to hit them successfully. And while yes, this might take a little time for us to go through, map these things out, what it does is it actually helps us go through and see what does our production need to be? How can we realistically hit it based on the days that we're working? What does each day need to be? What does each provider goal need to be for our doctors and our hygienists? And then we're able to actually bring all that information together and make a perfect puzzle for us. And then we start to place it into place. So when an office does this, usually I'm seeing a minimum of a 10% increase, but oftentimes I'm seeing a 10, 20, 30, 40% increase year over year. I've added multiple millions to practices, and our consultants have done as well, just by effective block scheduling, where we're not increasing the new patients. We're not changing how the hours that they're working. We're not adding more days for them to work. We're just being very consistent with how they actually schedule. And it's like I said, it's a puzzle. I can put in 5 puzzle pieces of one type, or I can do 5 different puzzle pieces. Again, I put 5 puzzle pieces in, same amount of time in a day, but I'm actually able to make $1,000 versus a $5,000 day. It was crazy. I had an office that I went into, and I remember they had never been scheduled to $10,000 in a day. And so when I went in and I showed them, here's how we can actually do 10,000. I scheduled them to 10,000 the next day. What was wild was the day I was there, they were producing 4,000. The next day I scheduled them to 10,000, showing them how to do this. And at the end of the $10,000 day, they looked at me high-fiving. We were out the door on time, and they said, Kiera, that was actually easier than our day was yesterday when we only produced 4,000. And I said, it was just with blocks. It was just with us being strategic of where we put people, as being intentional. And from there, we were actually able to be productive. So just helping you guys see, we've got to figure out what our specific production goals are before we restructure the schedule. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is design your ideal block schedule. Some doctors like to start early in the day with a crown. Some like to start later in the day with their crowns. Whatever it is, we need to design it of where do we actually want these to be. And I like high value follow-ups, $0 appointments. And instead of just saying a crown, I actually like to build a block schedule based on dollar amounts. Like I said, it's puzzle pieces. So that way, if a crown or a quad of fills comes through, I know they're 1,500 or 1,000, whatever it is, they're going into this block. Blocks are held for us for 24 to 48 hours, depending upon your practice, to make sure we're able to put the puzzle piece in that we want. We're able to actually map it out, and we're able to then tell patients when they're coming up, hey, Dr. Smith likes to do crowns in the morning. I have an 8 o'clock or a 9 o'clock on Monday or Wednesday. Which do you prefer? Now, I'm not asking the patient, where do you want to go? I'm literally asking the patient, this is what we do. This is where I can put you. This is how we do it. What works best for you? We actually eliminate a lot of the excuses. We eliminate a lot of the frustration, and we're directing and guiding the patient rather than trying to come back after they've told us they want a 4 o'clock when our doctor really doesn't do crowns at 4 o'clock. This is going to help you exponentially build the blocks. Also, I'm not putting implants and fillings next door to each other because that can get tricky. I'm not doing 2 crowns back to back where I can't see it. We're literally building a puzzle that our doctors can actually do. All of us get our lunches. All of us get out on time. Doctors can get over to their hygiene exams. So I'm also then playing Sudoku across the board where I've got my doctor procedures, my new patients, and my SRPs. Square up your SRPs and your implants so that way the doctor can literally get the implant done and not have to go do the hygiene checks. It's a way for us to truly make a puzzle that's 80 to 90% effective and efficient. So when we do that, that's step 2 of design our ideal block schedule and build that out. Now, the way I do this is I draft block schedules in Google Sheets. So in Excel, map it out of what the perfect amount is, put the dollar amounts there of what this is actually going to equate to for the day, and then figure out where my hygiene blocks need to be. I need to also figure out the number of new patients that we're seeing, the number of SRP, and the number of perio maintenance blocks that I also need to add into my schedule to make sure I have enough hygiene hours to accommodate the patients that we have in there. So that's then how we're going to draft this up. So that's going to be what you'll need to do next is draft a block schedule template for your practice that will actually be effective. And then step 3 is to implement it, train our team, and track our progress. So what we do is we then go put it into place. I understand that hygiene is usually blocked out 6 months. And so that does take a little bit longer to get into place, but our doctors can get their blocks put in right away. And we need to train our team, put those blocks in, educate them of what do we do when a patient wants at 4 o'clock, but we only do crowns at 2 o'clock. And I want to just remind you that an ideal schedule for our doctor is an amazing schedule for our patients. Us being on time, us being happy as a team, us having our doctor fresh and prepped and ready to go is so much better for these patients than us like trying to shove them in, because the reality is patients can adapt the schedule as long as we're using our words, which are free, to be able to put our patients where we want them to go. So how do we do this? So we host a team meeting, we explain the block schedules, we assign a point person who's going to oversee and implement, and then we actually help them make sure of what happens when we put this in a block when we're not supposed to. What's the follow-up? And I really get offices to work on this for 6 weeks to 2 months where we are rock solid on this, and then we come back and we adjust it after that. So when I've done this, there was an office and they were producing about $2 million a year. We put in block schedule, like I said, no extra days, no extra time. So we went from 2 million up to 3.5 million simply by being effective with our time with block schedules. To me, that's a wild growth. We have gone exponentially. We've gone from 2 million to 3.5 just by putting these blocks in. They were like, Kiera, patients are happier. Our team is happier. We're having our lunches on time. Our doctors are getting out on time. And to me, I just feel if those are the wins, then amazing, this is worth it. So for you, getting your team excited about it, helping them see, like, I understand teams don't like change. Why do you think I love being the dental A team where we do this in a fun and effective way? I love to do this because I help teams see what's possible when it feels impossible, helping them see where we can create ease when there's chaos, helping them see how we can be more efficient rather than cumbersome. So the reality is, block scheduling is going to change your life. It's going to help you be effectively productive. It's going to help you hit your goals with ease. One of my favorite quotes is by Walt Disney, where he says that he was able to create predictable magic because of the systems behind the scenes. And so for you to be able to create predictable production, with the systems behind the scenes of block scheduling, to me, is a gift that you can give yourself and your team this year. So what I want you guys to know is this is going to honestly simplify your productivity and give you guys goals to be able to hit them with ease. You don't have to be perfect. We have those snow days. We have the slow summer days. We have the December that's only 2 weeks. We have all these different things put in so we know exactly what we need our blocks to be. And then we're able to hit our goals with ease and more consistency. I really don't love having success be happenstance where I'm like, well, will I get it or will I not? I like your success to be inevitable. And I believe that block scheduling is one of the greatest ways to do that. So if you're interested, DM us or email us for a free block scheduling template, hello@thedentally.team.com. And as always, you guys, this is how we're able to help you run a successful dental practice with ease. I don't believe that running a practice should be hard. I believe that this could be easy. And I want you just to ask yourself, what if it could be easy? How would you feel? How would your team feel? How would your patients feel? Because that can be a reality. This is what the Dentally team does. And if that's helpful for you, reach out. hello@thedentally.team.com. And as always, thanks for listening. And I'll catch you next time on the Dentally Team podcast.